Due to Seoul's population density, a single 250 kiloton nuclear strike on City Hall would kill over 717,000 people, tens of thousands of whom would likely be American civilians who live and work in the city. The outer perimeter of the radioactive fallout would extend over a 4-mile radius. Those who are about 2.5 miles from the nuclear detonation would be either dead within 1.1 miles from the impact zone, dying over the next few weeks 1.3 to 2.72 miles, or suffering internally from the pain of acute radiation poisoning 2.72 to 4.28 miles. Seoul, the city that powered South Korea's Asian miracle in the 1980s, would cease to be one of the economic engines of productivity and prosperity in Asia. The Democratic People's Republic Korea should be a nothingburger in the 21st century. It's at the bottom tier of pretty much every human development, economic, corruption and freedom index in circulation. Transparency International ranks North Korea 174 out of 176 on its Corruption Perceptions Index, outdone by only South Sudan and Somalia. Its freedom ranking is abysmal and would make Josef Stalin blush. Out of a scale of 0 least free to 100, Pyongyang comes in at a 3. Kim Jong-un's national economy is a paltry $28.5 billion, smaller than the U.S. state of Vermont. Recommended: America's battleships went to war against North Korea. Recommended: 5 places World War III could start in 2018. Recommended: how North Korea could start a war, what North Korea used to export to China, Africa and Southeast Asia. With these are now technically violations of international law. This August, the UN Security Council passed a resolution that cut Pyongyang's $3 billion in export earnings by roughly a third. Importing North Korean seafood is now an illegal act. The only reason the United States or the UN Security Council pay even remote attention to North Korea and its portly dictator is because the isolated and poverty-stricken hermit kingdom is constantly improving upon its ballistic missile and nuclear weapons programs. If Pyongyang couldn't physically hold its southern neighbor hostage with the threat of destroying Seoul, one of the world's most congested cities, North Korea would be a third or fourth-tier priority. The country's frenetic missile testing schedule, and a looming fear among South Korean intelligence officials that another nuclear test is around the corner, provide the Kim regime with a few aces in its deck of cards. It is the North's considerable conventional power along the demilitarized zone and its weapons of mass destruction that prevent a more powerful nation like the United States, South Korea or Japan from ending the Kim family's reign for good. If there ever arrived a point in time when President Donald Trump believed that authorizing a preemptive military strike was the best option to combat the threat North Korea's nuclear and missile capability posed to the United States, it's not difficult to predict ahead of time how Kim would retaliate. The biggest bang for Kim's buck has always entailed lunging for South Korea's economic and political jugular, and enveloping the South Korean capital with rings of cannon and artillery fire. Seoul, a metropolitan area of at least 10 million people, would be the prime target of opportunity for Pyongyang. Pages